So today I want to try something a little bit different. We have typically been going over articles and news stories sort of in a zoomed out way. Today I want to zoom in on a specific person and their article and their words and ideas and respond to it specifically. This article is by Brian Joondeph and it was published in the American Thinker. The title is The Left's Overreach on Abortion. And so I want to talk about some of his ideas and then offer our response to them. So, my understanding of the article, if I was to tell you what I think his thesis is in a few parts, the first part is that he thinks abortion should be a purely state-based issue. So each state should have pure autonomy, to pure jurisdiction to make whatever laws it wants about abortion. The second part is that he argues that New York Democrats have overreached by attempting to pass more liberal abortion policy. He asserts that they won a victory on abortion and they should have taken it as a victory and then considered the case on the issue closed. But because they pushed further, in response, he argues that the backlash may result in women's access to abortion being restricted to pre-Roe versus Wade levels, and that is the fault of the liberals for overreaching on this issue. And then he draws the parallel to the investigation of Trump, and I want to talk about that statement, which I think is particularly gross. The implications there are pretty dark. So let's move into this. The first quotation that I want to go over is, I'll throw it up on the screen. This is actually the proper way for an issue. This is on the state issue. This is actually the proper way for an issue such as abortion to be decided. The 10th Amendment states, the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. Abortion is just such an issue, as is same-sex marriage, transgendered bathrooms, and other social issues. So, the first thing I want to say is that I don't know if I agree with the premise that abortion and transgendered rights and gay marriage should be state issues. I don't think that the way that he is framing all of that is that it is not a fair assessment of the situation to say that one party is an oppressor and one party is a group whose rights are being taken away. He rejects that premise entirely, and so he discusses it from this removed position where he's saying these things should just be left up to the states. You know, I would guess he would say like slavery or women's right to vote, or like, this guy's a total piece of shit.
He's kid gloving it.
He's hiding it well, but this guy is a racist piece of shit.
He won't touch and say this one is good, this one's bad, or because we did that once, as you kind of pointed out. We did this in the United States.
Okay, well, pardon me. I can't say that he's a racist piece of shit because he doesn't specifically bring up. He doesn't say race issues, but he says other social issues. So like, what other ones are in comparison to gay marriage, transgendered rights, and abortion? The next stuff is like women's right to vote and fucking desegregation. So are those the other social things that we should just accept our victory and not fucking care if it ever gets any better for those groups? Is that your fucking idea, Brian Joondeph? You piece of shit. You brain dead fucking idiot. If New York wants unlimited abortion and Texas does not, each state gets to decide, just as states are doing with marijuana, both recreational and medicinal. One always has the option to move to a state more aligned with one's values. Wrong. Not true. It's fucking hard to move when you're poor. You can't. I don't get to just move to whatever fucking state I want at the drop of a hat. because I'm being oppressed in my current state. And that ideology is so bogus. And it's tribalistic, and of course I'm sure that for this asshole it only extends as far as other Americans, right? Because if you're from another country and you want to move somewhere that more aligns with your values or not wanting to be oppressed, then you're an illegal. I can hear already this guy saying something similar. So those state decisions will work on their way through the courts, and one case may end up at the Supreme Court. Given Trump's past and future nominees, the settled law of Roe v. Wade may be given a second look and possibly overturned. And in the article, he even mentions, he calls leftists crybabies and criers of wolf on these issues, and saying like, well, Roe v. Wade has stood strong all these years. And then on the next page, he's like, now fuck you, because we might just take it away. That's gross. And then I'll let you, I know you want to get in here, Mike. I can see the smoke coming out of your fucking ears. When the dust settles, this is how he ends his article. When the dust settles, abortion in America may be more restricted than at any time since the Roe decision. All because the left couldn't leave well enough alone. Overreach has consequences, whether for abortion or deep state meddling in an election and its outcome. So what he's saying is, if you dissent too hard, if you ask for your rights too much on these issues, that he thinks it's right that the state should come in and crush you. He thinks it's right that if you try and investigate an obviously corrupt president, that if you accidentally or otherwise, if you try too hard and you piss off the powers too much, then it's admissible for them to destroy you. Go ahead, Mike.
Oh yeah, I mean, obviously the first fallacy there is it's total bullshit. This overreached idea of like, oh well, you've gone too far, so you're getting what you deserve. Fuck you. Like, all we're asking for is basic human principles. Like the same thing we've been asking for in all of our videos, where everyone should have the right to decide what happens to their own body. Male, female, child. I think everyone within reasonable, with children even, should be able to say, I want to do this with my body for my best interests. I don't think it's just as simple as like, well, we're just going to steamroll you because you overreached and asked for too much. Like, fuck you.
It's literally the same as if you could imagine him sitting there eating a piece of flan or something, and his teacup is next to him, and they shouldn't have asked for more. We gave them one loaf of bread per week, and now they claim they're still hungry. Take the bread away. Take the bread away. Fuck them. That's literally what he's saying. He's a monster. You're a piece of shit. What's his fucking name? I can't even remember his name because the reek of it as it passes through my synapses is so grotesque that even my brain itself goes bleh, bleh, and spits it out. Brian Joondeph. Piece of shit.